And so the rangers and humans from one of the local Arnak lords has entered the forest, and the forest now is full of white cards. Each one is on a foot square. So first thing I do, I turn the card over. Oh, I wonder what's in here. Might be nothing. It's more likely to be nothing than it is to be some... Oh, it's goblins. What I did, I was going to write goblins on every card that had goblins, but then I thought, well, then it can only be used for goblins. But if I just put a very faint fluorescent orange dot or a pink dot for a bigger evil creature, I can use them for any game. Could be bandits trying to ambush a wagon train in Timpo. It could be Germans ambushing British in World War II. I haven't committed myself, so that means goblins. Right, first thing. Now I throw a d6 for how many goblins, and there are 4. I want to know how many have got bows first of all, because I think they're probably more likely to have bows. So 1's got a bow, 3 have got scimitar swords. I haven't got one of them at the moment. I have got one, but I'll put him on in a sec. And next I have to test for how the depth of the woodland. So 1 or a 2, it's really dense. 3 or a 4, it's medium. 5 or 6, it's light. It's really dense, and I'm going to identify that with a red micro dice in that corner there, and that will stay on for the rest of the game. If it was medium, I would put on an amber, and if it was light, I'm going to put on a green. Because it's the same, isn't it? You're not going to leave a dense bit of forest, and when you come back, it's suddenly been cleared out by heavy industry to help contribute to global warming. So they've entered the forest. Now the next question is, how stealthy is everybody being? My men are rangers, they're goblins. Neither side are particularly noisy going through the forest. If you'll notice, I've specifically left the armoured men-at-arms literally at the back. I'm letting the rangers go in first. So I'm assuming it's sort of equal whether they can hear each other. The white dice are my men of Arnak, and the black dice are the goblins. And it is difficult to tell from those, but it is actually the goblins. That dice comes from a set, part of which looks like that, which is whiter, but they're all the same set. So the goblins are stealthier. How far away are the goblins from my... Well, okay, first of all, how far in can my men get before they even think there's goblins? 5. Right, so I get in 5. Well, that was a good guess. Bang on. How far ahead are the goblins when the first contact takes place? 6. They're there. My assumption's going to be that they're not particularly ready for battle. Neither are my men. So we now are aware, or certainly there's a possibility now that we're aware of each other. We're making more noise, so I'm going to give the goblins 2 dice to throw an advantage, and the higher spots the other one first. Yeah, it's the goblins. 5, 4 and a 4 for me. So if they hadn't had the advantage, they wouldn't have done it. Goblins first action. I could get rid of that card now. It's defunct. And now I can just play this as a sort of a... I'm going to play it a bit like I would a role play. So I've activated what we would call, in the game I'm playing at the moment, initiative. That's not what I would do after this. But for now, let's say that's how we're going. So the goblins have got the initiative. Normally we go on dexterity, but they have not got the best dexterity. No, that's a good argue. You could argue that, couldn't you? They might have. But anyway, whatever, they're going to go first. So they only have one action in my early D&D. They can do a sort of swivelly knock a bow, but they can't move and shoot and have bonus moves and all that palaver. So I would, if I was playing this as a role play and the goblins were actually controlled by people, I would say to the controller of that goblin, what are you doing? And he's got 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's firing an arrow. Good man. Okay, I can cope with that. So he's firing an arrow there at him. 5. That is just outside short range. 5, 10, 15 for a short bow. So that means they need 5 and 6. So they need a 5 or 6 to hit because of the range. Oops. No, they got, pardon my hand, a 2. Next goblin again. What are you doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No penalty for movement. Things like terrain for goblins, which is why I went back on my word and thinking about dexterity. So he just comes bouldering along at full tilt, straight into that Athelian. Now, the Athelian is a trained man, but he's trained with a bow. He hasn't even got a sword or dagger. The goblin isn't brilliant, but he's better than him. And he's got a better weapon than him. So 1 for having a shield. Now, let's make it 2 dice. All right. He's going to get 2 dice, not 3. 3's a bit extreme. And again, it's highest wins now. And it is the goblin. And I'm not bothering with all of the complicated medical charts that I would use for player characters in a dungeon, because these are not player characters. He now is defunct. Got 1, 2, what are you doing? Now, yeah, he can easily move that far. So he is powering off into him. In the trees, same job again. Now this one would be a draw, 4-4, but he's got the advantage throw, so he wins that one. And in winning that one, he kills him. Ouch. And this fella, what are you doing? Well, I'm going to take a shot. It's not a great shot, but hey ho. Somebody once told me when I first joined a war games club in 1972, if you can shoot, shoot. Yeah, it's medium range. He'll get cover and things, but it's medium range, which is 5 and 6. No, I missed completely. In fact, 1, if that was a role-playing character, 1 mean natural 1 like that. He snapped a bowstring. He's got no arrows. There are charts of what's happened. What I don't do, there are some games, there's a game called Test of Honor, samurai game, and if you fumble like that, you shoot yourself in the leg. I can't imagine a samurai actually shooting himself in the leg. Anyway, it's now the Men of Arnak's turn. First job is this archer is going to shoot at him. Now, these are better bowmen. So this guy, the goblin was at medium range, but this lad is at short range. He needs 4. Oh, yeah, that's cracking. 6 is an instant bonk. Dead. Do not pass go. This man has a sword. He's going to charge into him. Now, this time, the tables are turned somewhat because a trained man is better than a goblin. And he also has incredible improvements of armour. I suppose it'd be chainmail over leather. I'm going to give him a saving throw rather than advantage in attack. So, what we got there? Oh, the goblin... Oh, I threw the wrong dice. I threw 2 dice for the goblin and I shouldn't have done. Oh man, that was crackers. I might have to have a rethink about these coloured dice. I can't tell which is which. Oh, he got a 6. Right, that's instant death for the human on the goblin. And then I've got a human over there. Now, he doesn't have the advantage of moving without a penalty, so we would move a 6 minus a d6. Oh, he can move 5. But having said that, he's now committed to it, which luckily for him puts him there. So he gets 2 and the goblin gets 1. And the goblin has this time a 1. But because I said he had better arm, I'm going to give the goblin, I'm going to give him a chance of a saving throw. It's a 6 on a d6. Oh, and he's got a shield. Give him another dice. No, he didn't save either of them. The man's dead. Now, go to dexterity. The goblins are faster than men. So the goblins, he's going to attack him. He is getting, I'm going to get better dice than that because they're horrid. Let's have some very obvious black and white dice. That's better. Oh, white human kills him. And the goblin will shoot. Needing, I suspect, 5 or 6. Yeah. Missed. The human's shooting back. Okay. That is a 5 or 6. Missed. He is running towards the goblin with a minus because it's thick terrain. He only travels 4 because it's a -2 on the d6. He is running towards the minus 6. He's only got to move 6. he can have a little teeny bit. Okay, the goblin. Now, this is where I think, one thing I do feel here, that perhaps wargamers have an advantage over role players. Because early Dungeons and Dragons players, like me, like Gary Gygax, were wargamers first. We understood the notion of morale, and characters, armies don't fight to the death. There comes a time when a soldier or a unit has a failure of morale, and they run away, and that's what's happening with him. So, the way I'm going to work it is, if he gets a 5 or 6, which is the best, he's going to run straight back into the next bit of woodland. And then anything else, he's going to leave the table and try and get home to his mum. 5 or 6, he runs that way, leaving this area clear for us. But we have taken 50% casualties. And nobody there is actually a role-playing character. They're just non-NPCs. Everyone on the table is an NPC. So, are they going to stay? I've spent ages setting up the game. I shall show you. We're only in the first square. Look at that. I've got all those cards and then events and oh yeah, that's the joy of it. Nobody knows, do they, what we go through. Oh my goodness, the trauma. I'm saying there's 50% of them, so let's say it's a 50% chance that they're going to run away. So if they get 1, 2, or a 3, they're not running away, but they're going home. They're going home, and what the report is going to say is, my goodness me, you don't want to go in there. It's full of goblins. Might not be true. We've only been in one square. Yep, absolutely. The fates have conspired against me. They return home. Just to show you, I'm speaking to you from deep within the dark woods, where I am particularly depressed. There are a number of military expressions, which I am not going to repeat, which would cover the general terminology for what just happened. So in summary, I'm writing a module for a Dungeons and Dragons game that I'm looking to play in the new year. I've mentioned in the module rumours of goblins. But then researching my own history of Joral, I found that for the last 50 years there haven't been any goblins in this region because they were all driven out by good forces after the Great War against evil. And the Lord commanding the area, part of his remit is to keep evil things away or report to the king, neither of which has been done, which led me to the assumption that the little occasional appearance of goblins might be a fluke. It might just be a random rumour generated on a table of 100. Somebody might not have even seen a goblin. Might have been a cat, might have been a big sheep. Frightened him in the dark. Some shepherd coming home. He's had a few too many beads and he sees a sheep's bottom over the fence and he goes, "Ah, goblin!" And the rumours spread around all these strange people who never go anywhere. They have a family tree and it's a straight line like that. And then the rumours get more. Now, are the rumours growing because there are goblins and there are more goblins and the number of goblins are growing? Or are the rumours spreading because they are idiots who live round here and they like a good tale? Not much happens. They haven't got Xboxes. Can't go on Sky, Fox News. It's the old lady up the corner, the wise woman. 2 things you must know about the wise woman. So, the Lord now is thinking, oh heck, if news of this gets back to the king, somebody's going to be asking me questions about why I've not dealt with this, so I better find out the truth. So he sends out a patrol, 6 men, 3 men-at-arms, 3 rangers. Go and have a look. Are there any goblins around? Fully expecting there not to be. Now, in reality, these cards, only a 1/5 of all of my white cards contain the orange symbol for goblins. The other 4/5 are all blank. So the fact that I ran into one on the very first base and then threw a big number of... There might have been 1 goblin. No. So now my men have withdrawn and they're going back saying, those forests are full of goblins. There's hundreds of the beggars. We've lost 50%. They can't go back and say, oh yeah, there's only a couple of goblins, but they kicked our bottoms. Can you imagine the embarrassment? They've got to build up some big tale for when they get back as to why 3 of their pals are now dead. There were swarms of them. Goblins, thousands of them. Ah! And so rumour builds upon rumour and lie builds upon lie, and the truth is nothing like we actually happened. I'm making this up, but surely that's what a role play is. This now means that when I continue with my module, I've got some information that I didn't have before. The rumours of possibly a few goblins has now become a rumour of the place is crawling with them, but that might not be true. How do I decide whether or not it's true? Do I decide as games master? I've every right to. Or do I play it out to let it appear? I've every right to do that. What appeals to me most? What gives me the most fun? And I haven't decided yet. I could start to introduce a goblin in the random encounters, and the first time you meet a goblin it's 1, and then it's a D6, and then it's a D9, then it's a, I don't know, D20 I suppose, if you're going to go jumping up like that. And then it's a D20 plus a D6, then a D20 plus a D10, and a D20 plus a D20, and the number of goblins will grow and grow and grow and grow. But if the first random encounters, if the random encounter table of 100 encounters with 1 goblin, it's never generated, the goblins aren't going to appear. But the moment they are, they're going to start to snowball. I'm not going to know that, because it might not happen. And the players aren't going to know that. It might give me personally a little bit of excitement, because I don't need to know everything. I can have a sense of fun, adventure and discovery as a dungeon master just as much as my players can. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to say about that. Yabu sucks. Yeah, I think in a sensible, calm, considerate way, that went very well. I am now going to go back to the rubber room with my pyjamas that fasten up the back to be fed cream crackers that they're going to slide under the door because nobody wants to come in. And it's the only food thin enough to get under the door. And so, I'll see you next time. Medication's about to wear off. Ta-da, Chuck!